right, let's quickly take the excerpts from the MPC meeting that was concluded yesterday.
The CBN came out very, very quickly and put on the table a couple of initiatives that we believe are meant to help alleviate the pain of COVID-19 on our people. First, we talked about how the banks should restructure their facilities, how interest rates should come lower, particularly for CBN interventions, and how repayments could be spread for those who are owing banks so they have some more respite given that their cash flows have been badly affected. On another hand, we also proposed that for targeted credit facilities to households and small-scale businesses that are adversely impacted by COVID-19, that we're going to put on the table 50 billion naira for them. These are unsecured facilities meant for people who we feel are impacted and they just needed some little money either to start business or conduct some kind of consumption so as to help them live their lives during the period of pandemic. We also put on the table 100 billion naira for healthcare industry, for pharmaceuticals and hospitals, for the upgrade or building of new ones, and made available also a facility of 1 trillion naira to corporates who are willing to expand either in the agriculture or manufacturing sector. Let me say that to date, we have seen tremendous response on these initiatives. And I must also say that these initiatives, together with those that have come from fiscal, have been responsible for the somewhat moderated impact of COVID-19 on the lives of our people. To date, rather than even the 50 billion, the CBN has disbursed through its participating financial institution the sum of 149 billion naira to almost 317,000 beneficiaries. On the healthcare, approximately 60 billion naira has been disbursed to 60 healthcare projects, whether they are hospitals or they are pharmaceutical companies who are into healthcare and drug manufacturing. On the real sector, we have disbursed 350 billion naira to over 105 real sector projects during this same period. For the AXMEs, which is for those that are going to small businesses, poultry, hairdressing, and the rest, brick making, and the rest of them, we have also disbursed over 92 billion naira to more than 27,000 people. For the youth under the Creative Industry Funding Initiative, we've disbursed almost 2.9 billion naira to our youth in the area of fashion, in the area of ICT, software development, in the movie sector, and in the music sector. Now that, yes, we have seen that this has been quite impactful, particularly the targeted credit facility, which is meant for household and SMEs, because what we saw during this period is that it has helped to boost consumption spending for our SMEs. And if you know or recall that consumption constitutes over almost 70% of output, you will know that this has been very, very impactful in moderating the impact of the COVID-19 on productivity and output and GDP in our country. We have been advised, or we have been nudged on by the MPC, that given that this has been very, very impactful positively, that the CBN should do more. We put 50 billion on the table. We've so far disbursed almost 149 billion to 317,000 beneficiaries. And we have been told that we need to increase it, not just from 150 or 149 that it is now, that increased it to almost close to about 250 to 300 billion naira to accommodate more people that have not accessed this facility. But we do insist that this must be done in a way that it goes round, because we found out that some zones are more represented in the country than others. But understandable that, for instance, a zone like North Central, where you have predominantly Abuja, or Southwest, where you have predominantly Lagos, will certainly have a larger share. But the important thing is that we want to use this as an opportunity to see what can be done to boost consumption spending for our people, and also see to it that output is stimulated positively for the growth of our people, for the good of our people, rather. The second question also asks, what are the specific steps being taken to exit recession? Recession or contraction in growth, in output, is what we have seen throughout the entire world as a result not only of drop in commodity prices, but because of the adverse consequences of the health crisis created by COVID-19. In some developed countries, during the first, second, and even the third quarter, we saw some of them even showing double-digit contraction in growth. But in Nigeria, what we've seen, during the second quarter, we saw a minus 6.1% contraction, and I will use pleasantly in third quarter, a reduction in output to 3.6% negative during the third quarter. Let me say that we are hopeful, and the Minister of Finance had addressed some gathering yesterday where she said that she's hopeful that during the first quarter of 2021, Nigeria will exit recession. Based on data available to the MPC from the CBN, we are somewhat cautiously optimistic that indeed, if we continue doing what we're doing and do more, that there's a likelihood that we will see some little positive output numbers during the fourth quarter of 2020. But I can say with some level of certainty as well that we are so certain that during the first quarter of 2021, we will exit the recession. Why? As a result of all the actions taken by the monetary and fiscal authorities, NBS National Bureau of Statistics numbers shows that 18 sectors during the third quarter recorded growth relative to 13 sectors during the second quarter. And this growth were recorded mainly from the agricultural sector, industry, manufacturing. Indeed, we saw even services dropping somewhat slightly. But this agriculture coming on very strongly also means that what we can achieve from whatever we're doing to stimulate agriculture and manufacturing will create jobs for our people and also stimulate spending, will increase output, and ultimately lead to a moderation in the level of inflation in our country. The third question talked about the parallel market. And indeed, I heard some analysts talking about the parallel market, saying that exchange rate is at 480. I want to say this, that it is unfortunate and really unfair that even analysts who are supposed to know will play with numbers and begin to determine the exchange rate of our currency using parallel market rates. For the information of everybody, parallel market, as far as we know it and the data that we have, is a shallow market in Nigeria with no more than 5% of market share. Parallel market, and quote me, is a tainted market in Nigeria where people who desire to deal in illegal foreign exchange transactions, including sourcing of FX cash for purposes of offering bribes, corruption, that is where they deal. And that is where people who are supposed to understand the implication of this on the economic activity on our country, begin to go to television and begin to say that our exchange rate is 480. This is very unfortunate that this is the way those who are supposed to know try to bend numbers in this country. Parallel market is a market where people who do not provide documentations to support their transactions deal in. It cannot be a basis to determine the value of our currency. Everybody knows and is accepted that the NFX market, which is predominantly the ironing window, is a market that should be used for determining the exchange of our naira. As far as we are concerned today, the NFX ranges between 380 going to 386, 387, and we have been very open about the market price determination factors in that market. The central bank has no hand in price determination in that market. And in any case, when people say that it should depreciate, the currency should depreciate. Nigeria has depreciated its currency this year by 28%. That is a whooping depreciation compared to depreciation in some countries. India has depreciated by 9% from our records. Indonesia by 4%. South Africa by 9%. Russia by 22%. Nigeria 24%. Brazil by 28%. Turkey 33%. And Argentina by 35%. I do not understand what and how people who are supposed to know will begin to crave further depreciation of the currency. But we are saying, even if the currency is overvalued, shouldn't we go through a stepwise process where the shock can be less felt than where those who are supposed to know how this works begin to create panic in the market by saying that the exchange of Nigeria is 480. It is very unfortunate. But on our side, we will continue to insist that the exchange rate is determined by forces of demand and supply in the NFX market. We do not agree that the determining factor for the exchange rate in Nigeria for our currency should be based on a market that is tainted, a market where people go to offer bribes, and you can imagine where you can pay any price to buy foreign exchange to pay bribe. We are not going to be party to that, and we will continue to say this to anybody who cares to listen.